Oh, welcome back. This week, the fine fellers and fellettes at O'Reilly want to help you better understand.
Before millions of people knew the name Derek Bieri, before Vice Grip Garage became one of the most loved automotive channels on YouTube, Derek lived a very simple life shaped by hard work and quiet determination. He grew up in rural Minnesota, a place where life moves slowly and nothing is handed to you easily. There were no big cities nearby, no fast opportunities, and no shortcuts. In small towns like his, people learn early that if something breaks, you fix it yourself. That environment played a huge role in shaping Derek's personality. As a young boy, he was surrounded by old machinery, worn-out vehicles, and tools that had already lived long lives before he touched them. While other kids spent time playing games or watching TV, Derek was drawn to engines, rusted parts, and mechanical problems that needed solving. For him, machines were not just objects. They were useful, reliable, and honest. They didn't pretend. They either worked or they didn't, and if they didn't, you had to figure out why. That mindset stayed with him for life. Growing up in a quiet place also meant spending a lot of time alone. That silence can be heavy, especially for a child. But instead of fighting it, Derek learned to work inside it. He found comfort in the sound of tools, engines turning over, and the small victories of fixing something others had given up on. Those early years did not look special from the outside, but they planted the seeds for everything that came later. Without knowing it, Derek was already becoming the person people would one day admire, not because he chased attention, but because he learned patience, resilience, and respect for hard work when no one was watching. One of the most important lessons Derek Bieri learned early in life was that not everything needs to be replaced. In many modern homes, when something stops working, it gets thrown away. But Derek grew up in a world where replacing things was expensive and sometimes impossible. So instead, people repaired what they had. This way of thinking became part of him. He learned to look at broken vehicles not as junk, but as problems waiting to be solved. Every rusted bolt and seized engine was a challenge, not a failure. This mindset separated Derek from many others later in life. While many mechanics focus on perfection, Derek focused on making things run again. It didn't have to be shiny. It didn't have to be fast. It just had to work. That belief would eventually become the heart of Vice Grip Garage. As Derek got older, his skills improved, but his approach stayed the same. He used simple tools, common sense, and patience. He was not interested in showing off expensive equipment or perfect shop floors. Instead, he wanted to prove that everyday people could bring old vehicles back to life using basic tools and determination. This approach made him relatable. People watching him didn't feel judged or excluded. They felt encouraged. They saw someone who made mistakes, laughed at himself, and kept going anyway. That honesty created trust. Long before YouTube fame entered his life, Derek was already building something important: confidence in his abilities and respect for the process. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was just doing what he knew how to do, fixing what others had forgotten. That simple belief would later turn into a message that reached millions around the world. Vice Grip Garage did not begin as a business plan or a dream of internet fame. It started quietly, almost accidentally. Derek decided to film himself working on old vehicles and share the process online. At the time, YouTube was already full of flashy builds, expensive tools, and perfectly edited videos. But Derek offered something different. His videos were raw, honest, and real. He showed the full process, including the mistakes, frustration, and unexpected problems. The name Vice Grip Garage perfectly matched his style. Vice grips are not fancy tools, but they are reliable and useful when you need them. That is exactly how Derek approached his work. He wasn't chasing perfection. He was chasing progress. Slowly, people started to notice. Viewers appreciated that he explained what he was doing in simple words. He didn't talk down to anyone. He made people feel like they were standing right next to him in the garage. As the channel grew, so did its community. Fans began to connect not just with the cars, but with Derek himself. They saw someone who stayed calm when things went wrong and kept trying when others would quit. That attitude made Vice Grip Garage feel welcoming. It wasn't about showing how much money you had. It was about showing what you could do with what you already had. That message resonated deeply, especially with people who felt left out by more polished automotive channels. Derek's success came from being himself, not from trying to become someone else. But with that success came new challenges that he never expected. As Vice Grip Garage grew, the pressure on Derek Bieri grew with it. What once felt like a hobby slowly turned into a full-time responsibility. He was no longer just fixing cars. He was managing a business, dealing with sponsors, editing videos, answering comments, and keeping up with YouTube's demanding algorithm. The platform rewards constant uploads, and slowing down can cause views and income to drop quickly. Derek found himself working longer hours, often late into the night. Filming a build was only part of the job. After that came editing, planning, travel, and promotion. The workload became overwhelming. Fans began to notice changes. Some videos became shorter. Some uploads were delayed. During live streams and interviews, Derek sometimes looked tired. He still smiled and joked, but there were moments of silence that said more than words. Burnout doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly. At first, you feel tired. Then you feel pressured. Eventually, even the things you love start to feel heavy. Derek felt trapped between expectations and reality. Fans wanted more content. Sponsors wanted deadlines met. The algorithm wanted consistency. But his body and mind needed rest. Taking a break felt risky, because so much depended on him continuing. Like many creators, Derek kept pushing forward, even when he was exhausted. The passion that once fueled him began to feel like pressure. This is the hidden cost of online success that many viewers never see. Behind every video is a real person trying to balance creativity, responsibility, and health. For Derek, that balance became harder to maintain with each passing month. Before YouTube's success, Derek Bieri was already a husband and a father. He married his wife Jessica in 2008, long before Vice Grip Garage became famous. Together, they built a life based on simple values, hard work, honesty, and family. As the channel grew, so did the challenges at home. Time became the most valuable and limited resource. Long hours in the garage meant less time with his wife and children. Travel and filming schedules often conflicted with family moments that could never be replaced. Derek faced a difficult reality. The success that allowed him to provide for his family was also pulling him away from them. Unlike many influencers, Derek made a clear decision to protect his children's privacy. He reduced their appearances on camera and avoided sharing personal details. He understood how unpredictable the internet could be. For every supportive fan, there could be someone who crossed boundaries. Derek did not want his children growing up under constant public attention. This choice may have cost him engagement or views, but it showed his priorities. He chose to be present as a father, not just visible as a creator. The fear of missing important moments weighed heavily on him. Bedtime stories, school events, and quiet family time do not appear in videos, but they matter more than any number of views. Derek's decision to place family above fame revealed a deeper kind of success. One that cannot be measured by subscribers or likes, but by the relationships he chose to protect. One of the most emotional chapters in Derek Bieri's journey was the decision to leave Minnesota. That place was more than just home. It was where Vice Grip Garage began. It was where many of the early videos were filmed, often in freezing weather with limited resources. Those cold garages and gravel roads held memories that could never be replaced. But as the channel grew and burnout increased, staying became harder. The harsh winters made filming difficult, and the old garage no longer met the needs of his expanding work. After careful thought, Derek and his family decided to move to Tennessee. This move was not easy. It required selling many vehicles he had collected over the years. Each car carried a story, a memory, and a piece of his past. Letting them go felt like saying goodbye to chapters of his life. Some of these sales happen quietly, without announcements or attention. Just a handshake and a heavy silence. Moving to Tennessee offered a fresh start, warmer weather, and more filming opportunities. But it also meant leaving behind familiarity. New places bring new challenges, and adjustment takes time. The move symbolized change, not just in location, but in direction. Derek needed space to breathe, to slow down, and to rethink what success meant to him. Sometimes, growth requires letting go of what once defined you. For Derek, this move was about survival, balance, and the hope of rediscovering joy in the work he loved. Many fans began to ask the same question: what happened to Derek Bieri? Why did the videos feel different? Why were some shorter? Why did he seem quieter? The answer is not a single event, but a combination of burnout, responsibility, and personal growth. Derek did not disappear. He evolved. As he learned more about the cost of constant output, he began to set boundaries. He chose health over hustle. He chose family over constant filming. This shift may have disappointed some viewers, but it was necessary. The pressure to entertain can slowly take away the joy of creating. Derek's changes reflected a man trying to protect himself from losing what mattered most. The heart of Vice Grip Garage never left. The honesty, teaching, and respect for old machines are still there. What changed was the pace. Derek realized that slowing down did not mean failure. It meant sustainability. In a world that demands non-stop content, choosing balance is an act of strength. His journey reminds viewers that creators are human. They feel tired. They feel pressure. And they need rest. Derek's story is not about quitting. It is about choosing a healthier way forward. The true legacy of Derek Bieri and Vice Grip Garage is not measured by subscriber counts or viral videos. It is measured by impact. Derek showed people that you do not need perfection to succeed. You need patience, honesty, and effort. He reminded viewers that old things still have value, and that broken does not mean worthless. Through his calm voice and steady hands, he taught millions how to try, how to fail, and how to keep going. His story is also a warning about burnout and the hidden cost of online fame. Success should not come at the expense of health or family. Derek's willingness to step back, protect his loved ones, and change his pace shows wisdom that many never achieve. Vice Grip Garage remains a place of learning and inspiration, not because it is flashy, but because it is real. Derek's journey is not over. It is simply continuing at a pace that allows him to live, not just produce. And in that choice, he may have saved not only his career, but himself. To truly understand Derek Bieri, you have to look beyond the cameras, the rusted cars, and the successful YouTube channel. At his core, Derek is not a performer chasing attention. He is a problem solver, a teacher, and a quiet thinker who values honesty over hype. What makes him stand out is not just his mechanical skill, but the way he carries himself. He speaks calmly, works patiently, and rarely rushes to impress anyone. In a world where many creators exaggerate emotions or create drama to boost views, Derek chose a different path. He stayed grounded. That decision earned him deep respect from viewers who were tired of fake content and loud personalities. Derek never claimed to be perfect. He openly admitted when he didn't know something, and he showed the learning process in real time. That humility made people trust him. Viewers didn't feel like they were watching an expert talking down to them. Instead, they felt like they were learning alongside a friend in the garage. This attitude helped build a strong community, not just an audience. Another important part of Derek's personality is his sense of responsibility. When his channel grew, he didn't treat it lightly. He understood that people were learning from him, spending time watching his videos, and even using his advice to work on their own vehicles. That kind of influence carries weight. Derek was careful about what he showed and how he explained things. He focused on safety, patience, and realistic expectations. He didn't promise miracles. He showed that sometimes a car won't start, no matter how hard you try, and that failure is part of the process. This honesty helped viewers accept their own mistakes and keep going. Derek's calm presence made complicated mechanical problems feel less intimidating. That is a rare skill, and it cannot be faked. Derek is also deeply connected to the idea of preserving history. Many of the vehicles he works on are not valuable because of money, but because of memory. Old cars often carry stories of families, farms, and everyday life. By bringing them back to life, Derek is not just fixing engines. He is saving pieces of the past. This respect for history reflects his own values. He understands that time moves forward, but that does not mean everything old should be forgotten. His work sends a quiet message: progress does not always mean replacing the past. Sometimes it means restoring it. That message resonates strongly with viewers who feel nostalgic or disconnected in a fast-changing world. Despite his success, Derek has never acted like a celebrity. He avoids unnecessary attention and keeps his private life mostly out of the spotlight. This is a deliberate choice. He values normalcy. He wants his children to grow up without pressure, and his family to feel safe and grounded. Many creators struggle with separating their online identity from their real life. Derek drew that line clearly. He chose privacy over popularity when it mattered most. That choice shows emotional maturity and self-awareness. It also explains why he sometimes steps back from constant uploads or public appearances. He understands that life is more than content. Over time, Derek Bieri has become more than just a YouTuber who fixes cars. He represents balance, authenticity, and quiet strength. His journey shows that success does not have to be loud. It does not have to be perfect. And it does not have to cost you everything. Derek continues to inspire people not by chasing trends, but by staying true to himself. That may be his greatest achievement of all.